Welcome back to the Bass Gear Magazine channel. I'm Lily Mitchell. You may also know me as Kelly Lil, and we're here today with another 90s throwback. This is the Tobias Classic IV from Gibson's 2025 reissued Tobias Original Collection. Let's check it out. So jumping right in, the Classic IV is another one of those special models from the Gibson era of Tobias once Gibson acquired that brand in the 90s from Michael Tobias. For a little bit more of the lore and the history behind that, definitely go check out my Tobias Growler 5 video where I jump into the history. That being said, the Classic IV is really special because there's a premium focus on tonewoods of all kinds. We have quilted maple, Wenge, and walnut on these wings, stringer neck through body with hard maple and purpleheart. So there's a lot going on here. Gorgeous instrument, but designed for maximum tonal performance and playability. This thing is very sleek, as you can tell, and another nod kind of to maybe a more Stingray type instrument with these two Bartolini humbucking pickups. Overall, I am very wowed by the high-end appeal of this bass. It is at a higher price point than the Growler models. The Classic and Killer B models share the same layout in that we have the 3-band EQ preamp, treble control, mids, and bass, switch 3-way between up 250, middle 500, bottom 800 hertz, volume, and pickup blend. This also really isn't that different from the Growler in that we still come to expect this very valuable mids switch that helps contour and shape our experience. This can really help you across techniques and varying musical applications. And once again, to confirm the accuracy of this information, I went over to Bartolini's official website where in their knowledge base they list out the schematics for the Tobias 2025 Original Collection. So we know exactly how things are working with not only the Classic and the Killer B, but the Growler, and there's no confusion about frequencies or any of the EQ bands, anything that relate to all these amazingly high-powered Bartolini 18-volt systems. So this brings us to the playtest. Armed with knowledge from my previous review of the Tobias Growler 5 and my knowledge of the electronics on this bass, I felt that it was going to be really easy and intuitive to dial in exactly what I was looking for. Once again, I took things all the way from a little bit disco to something very warm and classic, and I knew I'd be able to get away with that even better because we have a neck pickup. So that being said, as always, I recorded through my very clean studio patch for consistency across the board. Before we get started, don't forget, go visit bassgearmag.com to read my full review. Let's go. Before we break down those really tasty, articulate tones, I want to take a moment to comment on the physical playability and performance of this bass. Overall, I do feel like the high performance type focus does prove successful in this instrument. I find that the neck through construction all the way up through here makes everything feel really, really smooth. I love the Wenge fretboard, the premium Babicz bridge, beautiful sustain and strong intonation from this bass. However, I do have a little bit of a gripe with the weight. This specific one is 9.2 pounds. Combine that with the actual shape of the body and where the contours are, I did find it a bit uncomfortable. The way I can sit with the bass here, it kind of pushes into me in some uncomfortable ways. I think it's fine standing. Once again, these are highly personal aspects of an instrument, but I do want to note that. Beyond that, this is a very fast playing instrument and overall something that I think a lot of players could totally rip on. In the tone department, combine the tonewoods with the Bartolinis, and we really do have a winning recipe. This bass's superpower is its ability to shapeshift and the fact that we have the 3-band EQ preamp, which allows for a more versatile voice. My favorite way to approach things was to really focus on which section of the mid-range I wanted to emphasize, and then shape the treble and bass kind of around that to compensate and balance things out. I think this bass has also more of a neutral or best fitting voice where you can mold this a little bit more to a wider variety of music, whereas the growler, for example, has a really distinct voice that sounds beautiful across genres, but you really hear that it's a growler. This bass could fool you into thinking it's a variety of different instruments, and that is really cool. And with this powerful of an onboard system, I see this bass serving the big rig player just as much as someone who likes to just plug and play. You could plug the bass straight into your rig and pretty much EQ and dial in your sound directly from the active system here. Of course, you do have to be cognizant that there's no ability to switch to passive. Make sure your batteries are good to go. But otherwise, beyond that, this is all you need right here. So in conclusion, I'm still thrilled that Gibson has brought back these Tobias basses for 2025, really enabling a new generation of players to explore them. As for the Classic IV, it is so aptly named, as I do think it has the ability to feel like a staple in whatever genre you're playing. Whether you're playing classic music or something far more modern. I do think this bass fits best in the hands of more advanced players or ones who are more adventurous, but really it could still work for anybody. Thank you so much for watching. I would love to hear about how you would play the Classic IV, if you would play the Classic IV, and what you think about the Tobias original collection, especially from my longtime Tobias players. Drop me a comment, don't forget to like and subscribe, and head over to bassgearmag.com to read my full review, all that good stuff, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye!